What's up, guys? Welcome to our new podcast. Today we have our second guest, Meet. I'm sure you guys enjoyed the episode with our first guest, Khushbu, and if you guys did not watch that, please check it out so that you can watch us do some yoga at the end. I think that was a great episode. So now we have our second guest, Meet. Meet is one of our high school friends. We met in Nairobi and we studied together at CGHU, and then he moved here to Canada in 2018, and he has been here since then. Meet has lived in Hamilton and then moved to Ottawa, and he has basically been here long. He has been in Canada longer than me and Sagar. So I'm sure he has a lot of interesting things to share, and we can get the conversation rolling.
Yep.
So hey guys, my name is Meet, obviously. So all of us we are friends. Sagar, Yash, Ilyan. We were in the same school. Sagar was senior. These guys were my classmates
Yeah.
and best friends. One of the best friends. I left Kenya after doing my year 11. Year 11, yes. What is it called? O levels. After my doing O levels, and I came to Mohawk College for computer engineering diploma. It was an advanced diploma. Completed my studies, and I've been here ever since. It's been about, I would say, 8 years. 8 years, and yeah, definitely it has been a long journey. 8 years of my life in Canada. Things changed. A lot of we did lose some contacts here and there with friends, but we always knew that if I give them a call, they would answer my call, and that's how it is.
Yeah. I think what you just said there, losing touch with friends, but again, if like we asked you to do this podcast and
Yeah.
you did not hesitate to even say yes. So
And
yeah, Meet, why did you say yes to talk to us, like after all these years as well? What made you think like this would be a good conversation?
I mean, you guys are friends, right? Like losing contact doesn't mean losing friendship. That's how it is. You get busy, I get busy. Things do get busy in personal lives, right? You might be facing troubles here and there, which no one is aware about, but it doesn't mean that we are not friends. We are still friends, and that's the reason I said yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
you know,
loved
that's
what you just said,
something
Yeah.
we've talked about. Like, everyone gets busy, but then the friendship is always there, but then
Always
finding
there.
the time, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly, it's always there, but then finding the time to speak with each other is very important, and that's what we've been trying to do. We're also trying to connect with old friends, and because the friendship is always there, like
always there.
we
100%.
always grew up, like yeah, we went to high school with them. We have a lot of memories with them.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I remember that you moved from India first to CGHU, and then you
yeah,
moved from CGHU to Canada.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
how was the move when you initially came to Kenya from India?
So initially, when I came from India to Kenya, the first challenge, since India is not a native English speaking country in my school, that was my first challenge, to be honest. The language barrier. Like professors, remember? I forgot what was Mr. Edwin, I think, our math
Uh,
professor.
the strict guy, yeah?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
strict guy. Like
Yeah.
his accent was so different, and I'm like, what is this man trying to say? I knew math deep down, but I didn't know his accent. So things that was my biggest challenge. That was my
Yeah.
biggest challenge. But
Disclaimer: Meet was the goat in math. I remember, like he was
yeah,
really good in math.
He was the
but the
best,
language
in
barrier
fact.
was huge.
Yeah.
So that was my biggest challenge. But what made it easy was you guys. You guys spoke Gujarati, which I
Yeah.
spoke as well.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you guys acted as translator for me, and ever since, yeah, I've been learning this language called English.
And you've
All
become
right,
quite
so
fluent in it now, right? Sorry, Ilian. Yeah.
no, you're good. So I was actually gonna say you said you moved from India to Kenya, and your biggest thing was the language barrier. So what was your, I guess your shock from moving from Kenya to Canada? Because I feel like their accents are also different compared to what you would have heard in Kenya.
Oh, moving from Kenya to Canada, I was well prepared, man. I was
Oh,
well prepared
Really?
because yeah, like English wasn't a problem at that point because
Mhm.
3 years of exposure in Kenya gave me a good understanding on how conversations go.
Yeah.
Right? I can write English, I can read English, I can do all of those good stuff, but I cannot communicate one on one. that was my biggest challenge, and that challenge was sorted when I moved to Kenya.
How did you
So
prepare for your move to Canada? Because you just said you are well prepared. Most of the people who move are not prepared. They just come to Canada or the US or any other country and hope things work out themselves. Most of them are not prepared. So how exactly did you prepare?
So again, biggest preparation for me was one of my close friend that lives in Hamilton. His name is Deep. He was my go-to guy. Like I moved with him. He was there when I moved. He came to pick me up at the airport. He showed me the college, and then obviously my college recruiter, the guy who gave me the admission, Mr. David, was also there. So things were well prepared. Like, there was shock, missing mom's food and stuff like that, obviously, but
Yeah.
that took me like a month to get over, and I'm like I just have to accept this at this point.
Yeah, I think having someone already in waiting for you and like makes it
Yeah.
so much easier. Like when I
Yeah.
came here, there was I didn't know anyone, so it was a bit hard for me. But then it makes sense when you have someone here who can help you out and help you get settled, so it makes it easier. Like
Yeah.
definitely cooking is the hard part. I know, like you miss Kenya's food, you miss your mom's food, but then you get used to it. So when you started your program at Mohawk College, how
hmm
did you find the experience?
So it was relatively easy, I would say. The first 2 semesters, I was just, I was so much not studying. I would say I was just playing games, and I was not attending classes because professors here they don't care, even if you're in the class or even if you attend or don't attend, they don't care so much. So first 2 semesters were I was playing and I just passed. And then it started the third semester. That's when things started getting tough, and I'm like, nah, I have to study at this point. So since semester three, I started more, studying, opening the books, and reading what they're teaching. But it wasn't that difficult. Education
Yeah.
side of things, it's more practically, more of practical than theoretical knowledge. So it wasn't that tricky.
Coming to that point, Meet, you mentioned about it being more practical in Canada. You've studied in like three different countries now. I would say, like, you did some studies in India, you did some studies in Kenya, and then of course you come for your advanced diploma in Canada. What are the major differences that you would see? Of course, you can't compare like school to university, but how was that difference for you? Like, coming from India to Kenya, then to Canada. Yeah.
So comparing three countries, educationally wise, it's mainly Kenya. Kenya, India has more of a theoretical learning structure than Canada. Canada, it's more practical. Like you have computers. So I did computer engineering, right? So I had computer from the college that was given to me from day one. So I just had to open that computer, do the labs, and that was about it. But while in
Yeah.
India and Kenya, what I've noticed more, I haven't attended university or college in India or Kenya, so I'm just speaking on based off school knowledge.
Yep.
It was
Yep.
more theoretical, like you have to write down stuff. I hardly used my pen and paper in Canada. Like at this point, I probably forgot how to write.
So wait, so to you, do you think a practical or theoretical way is better for you to learn? Like, what do you think is better for you as a person?
It depends on my mood, or I would say on my like what zone of mood I am in. Basically, if I'm in learning mode, I can do theoretical better. But if I'm like, nah, I don't want to concentrate too much, then it's practical is more accurate for me. Because practical, you just have to see. You don't have to brainstorm
Yeah.
stuff. So
So
depending on the concentration level, I guess.
is that the
When you
reason you are
moved,
so good at math? Sorry.
go ahead,
Is
Saga.
that the reason you are so good at math? Like, was it like instilled in you from India, or how are you so good at math naturally?
Math was just from India, yeah. Because
Yeah.
when I moved from India to Kenya, like the way they did math in India was way different than how we did it in Kenya. Like, yeah. So the only reason was my basic level of math was from India. That was the main reason.
Yeah.
I remember I used to ask Meet for help in maths. Like we used to compete against each other, but then Meet
Yeah,
will always defeat me in math, so
yeah.
I know it was you're the better person in math, and I think studying in India definitely helped you with that. And when you moved to Canada, I think people have an issue, like even generally when people move to a new country. I think one issue people have is definitely finding work, like part-time work, and then coming up with a social circle. So, did you face these challenges, or how
So
how did it
back
go?
in 2018, finding jobs wasn't this difficult as it is right now. Back in 2018, there were jobs lying around, like you can work. Since I'm a student, I cannot obviously work in my field. I had
Yeah,
working in field. You have to work 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, 40 hours a week, which is not possible as a student, right? So the first job was there was this guy. I forgot his name. He was a good friend. He was Punjabi. I met him in college, and he's like, I'll tell you about my first. This is about my first job, by the way. So his name was, I think, Lovepreet or something. I don't remember. He's like, bhai, it's so easy. You just have to come to the factory. You have to pick up the biscuits and put it on a different conveyor belt. That's about it. And I'm like, this
Yeah,
this sounds easy. This sounds
yeah.
easy. So that was my first job. I went. It was a 12-hour shift, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. in the morning, and that was the first
yeah.
and last shift I did in the biscuit factory. This is enough. I'm not going this place again. Like I,
Yeah.
I don't know why Lovepreet was like so counting it easy, but for me that was the toughest.
Was it
Yeah.
the physical aspect that was hard, or just the timings because you had to work overnight and your bodies was not used to that?
Physical and mentally both. The conveyor belt ran at 40 kilometers per hour, so that those
Oh,
biscuits just came running 12 hours straight. So last 4 hours, I was watching the clock, and I'm like, why is time not moving? What's going on? So in the morning at 6 p.m., in the morning at 6 a.m., sorry, I called Uber. It was my friend also with me, Deep, me, and third person, Dhruv. We're like, enough. First and last time we are here, that's it. Never come back again. So that was my first job.
I can imagine. Like I've heard a lot of stories, like of people working in restaurants, and like it's
Yeah.
it's not a good experience.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, like like the physical aspect. Then again, the mental aspect at night, especially. Already, like Canada does not have like a lot of
Yeah.
sun, and then if you're working at night, then
Yeah.
you're just
I
like
went with I
very
went with full confidence because the way Lovepreet explained, he's like, this is nothing. It's just you have to pick up the biscuits and they come and go, and it's like you get $15 an hour, and I'm like, that sounds easy.
yeah.
So when you
Especially for like your first job, when you're a student, like if you've never worked in Kenya and then you move to a new country and you get to work,
Mhm.
then you do the math of how much money you will make. So I think you don't really think about anything else because you're like, I will get this much money for as my first paycheck, and that's good enough for me. So people just accept whatever they want to do.
Yeah, that was my
whenever
yeah.
whenever you seen Love Preet next, what do you tell him?
I'm like, bro, like that man was built different. He came from, I think, military school, so for him these things were easy. But for me, it was not.
That's funny.
So
So what
like,
did you do after that? Like after you stopped working at the factory, what did you do?
yeah, I was hired at 6 p.m. and I quit at 6 a.m. in the morning. And the next job was a gas station. And the next job was I started working at a gas station. I worked
Yeah.
there for about 2 months. And then, yeah, there was a robbery that happened at night. And then I quit. I quit that job as well. Like,
Were you there when the gas
I was
station
there,
was
man.
robbed?
Yeah.
what?
Damn.
This is a
How did
story
that happen? Like how did the robbery happen?
not a lot of people know about this story. So I think it was 3 a.m. at night. Usually, gas station, if you're new, they usually offer you night shifts only. You don't get morning shifts. So I was working at night, 3 a.m. Two guys came in with full masks, a knife, and they're like, give us the money. And I gave them the money. But I was so scared. I'm like, nah. Next morning, I'm quitting this as well.
That's actually crazy. Like, I think you're the first person I've heard like this has actually happened to them. Like
Yeah,
I've heard stories about this happening, but
yeah.
actually being there would be very difficult. Yeah.
My
Yeah.
manager at the gas station was nice. He offered me morning shifts after that. He's like, bro, just don't worry about it. Start working in the morning. And I'm like, nah, 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 I'm just gonna quit. And then right after a week, I got third job. It was that easy back in 2018.
Yeah.
Like, man, I'm telling you.
You know, the way you're saying it, like someone listening to this, like from Canada, will be like, "What? Seriously?" And
Yeah.
like when I came to Canada in 2024, like I was telling Yash, like I went to the local Tim Hortons to get a job. The person over there, like like they just told me like you're the fifth person that has come in the last 1 hour, and
Oh,
there were no jobs. Like it was that difficult. So yeah, like you
yeah.
saying this is actually interesting as well. Yeah.
Yeah. 2018 was a good time. Like, it wasn't as easy as back in 2000s, I would say, but it was relatively easy. Not that difficult.
So, would you say things changed after COVID? Like a lot of shutting down happened, and then like jobs started getting harder to get. And would you say
A
that was
lot
a
of
big factor?
a lot of things changed after COVID, man. I worked. So my third job was Freedom Mobile, cell phones. That was a very white collar job, I would say, just sitting at a desk selling cell phones. Explaining people that this is the plan. So they had to shut down the store during COVID, and I was laid off. Yeah, that was my longest job, which I worked my full student 3 years. And then right in April 2021, when I was about to graduate, they shut down the store. And right before my graduation, I was laid off.
So what did you do after that? Because I imagine if that was the only source of income, and then if you lose the job, how do you
Yeah,
manage to pay your bills like rent and groceries and
I had some savings because Freedom
yeah.
Mobile job paid really well. You have commissions plus you have the minimum wage. So you even working 20 24 hours, you can earn like double the salary what you'd
Yeah.
earn at a gas station. So I had a lot of savings, and places where I lived, we shared the apartment, right? So the rent wasn't too much.
Yeah. So after April 2021, you graduated, and I guess that's when you started working full time, or
Yeah, that's when I started working full time. I was looking for a job urgently, like ASAP, because remember that TR to PR was gonna come about in May. Yeah, May they were gonna launch TR to PR, temporary resident to permanent resident. That's how I got my permanent resident, by the way. So they were gonna launch TR to PR, and one of the requirement was that you have to be employed, and I wasn't employed because I was laid off in April. So I'm like, whatever job there is, I'll work. So I found a job in call center. I think what is it? What was it called? Concentrix or
Mhm.
something. It's Apple technical support. They tell it Avalon technical support for some reason, but that's where I worked, and I got my PR after that.
How long did you work at the call center for? Was it until after you got your PR, or just until you applied to get your PR?
Until I applied to get my no. Wait 1 second. 2021 April. I worked only for a few months. As soon as I applied my PR, I quit.
How was the experience of working in a call center? Like, like I've heard
It,
like call
it,
centers can be very stressful.
so if you want to work in a call center, you have to be a person who's not too hyper in the nature.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be super calm. That, yeah, thank you for calling Concentrix. How can I help you? Something like that, which I am not. So I'm like, enough,
Yeah.
enough. Like, why
Yeah.
am I being so polite? Like, there were people that were not they were not supposed to be answered politely, and I'm like, nah, I'm not answering these people politely, and that's the only reason I quit.
That
Yeah.
is something I've actually seen. Like if you talk about, I worked in retail for like I think 3 months, and then luckily I haven't faced any, I've not had any bad customers because it's a customer facing job, basically
Mhm.
giving customer service. I've seen some of the people like they're being complete assholes to my coworkers, and my coworkers are just students, and they're just there working part time. So I think when that's why I don't like when people in general are mean to employees. Like they're
Yeah.
just there working for a living. Why are you being mean to them? It's not even their fault. So I think I have an issue with that, but I don't know how it can be solved because people are just mean in general.
Yeah, man. That's the true side of call center and retail work. Like, not everyone is the same. People come with so bullshit complaints that you cannot even imagine.
Yeah,
People take out their frustrations, their living frustrations in their life. They take it out on people that, like especially the employees, you know, you don't have this candle, well, blah 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 blah, and it's like, what can I do? I just work here, so
Yeah.
yeah, it sucks.
Did you
yeah.
quit without having a plan, or did you find another job and then quit? Because I think some people get too like they become frustrated and they just quit on the spot and then they find a job. How exactly did you quit? Did you
Like,
have a plan in
without a
mind?
plan, obviously, without a plan. There was no plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't. I didn't like wearing 8 hours headphones and sitting in front of a computer and being polite all 8 hours. I'm
It
like, man,
does something to you. Yeah.
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So
So
I quit.
Meet. So after that, like, how
Mhm.
difficult was it to get like actually a white collar job? Like, now especially it's become like I think 10 times harder to get a good job in Canada. Like, how did you prepare for that? Like, once you left the call center. Yeah.
So after that, I think it took me like a month, I would say, to find a job. Yeah, it took me. Finally, this is when things started getting tough. I did
Yeah.
not find jobs in weeks. I started finding jobs in months now. So my
Mm.
But it
first
only
job
took you a
was,
month.
It
yeah,
still
like
only took you a month.
yeah. Still, it's a month, not a week. Not as good as 2018, but
Yeah.
not as bad as it's right now.
Yeah, because
So
like it took me 8 months. Like last year, it took me almost 8 months to get a
eight
job.
months. Oh man,
It was a tough time. Like I graduated last year,
yeah,
like, and then I started working somewhere, but then it was not like full time, full time. Then I
yeah,
got after 8 months of looking, I got a job.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So that after a month, it was my first white collar job.
yeah.
How is the experience like moving from a random part-time, like not part-time, but then moving
From
to
robberies to offices.
exactly, yeah, like a white
All
collar job,
offices.
wearing
Yeah.
your nice suit or nice formal clothes. How did you like
Yeah.
that?
So the first job was IT service desk technician at Mohawk College, the place where I studied. I started there on contract basis. I worked there for like a year and a half. It was a whole different experience, like a whole different world.
Yeah.
Like the people are
Yeah.
so much nicer and the work is
People were so
much
much
better.
nicer. The manager was like, okay, you have the right to say this to your customers. You can write this, you can do this. Like there was so much, support at that point. And yeah, pay wise, it was paying way more than what the other jobs paid, obviously. So a lot of more money. Yeah.
And how do you think this jobs changed you overall? Like from the meet that came in 2018 to the meet that is today. Like how these jobs like shaped you? Like what have you learned from some of these experiences? Yeah.
So the best experience I learned, if I wasn't laid off from Freedom Mobile during COVID, till date, probably I would be Freedom Mobile's manager. Like,
Oh, really? You thought
yeah,
you
Really?
would work
I
there?
was, I that was my comfort zone. I'm being
Yeah.
honest. That was my comfort zone. I was in my comfort zone. I enjoyed Freedom Mobile. I enjoyed selling phones. I enjoyed my commission. I enjoyed the minimum wage. It was super fun. So when I was laid off, I took it on my heart. I'm like, ah, shit. I was about to get PR, and now this guy's laid off. But turns out that was the best part. It was the best part. I
Question,
got laid off.
Yeah.
question about that. You said that was your comfort zone. So how do you feel like, obviously you said it sucked, getting laid off, but what do you think getting out of that comfort zone? Do you think it's like a good step? Let's say if you didn't get laid off, you said you would have been the manager of Freedom Mobile. Do you think you would have made that step initially to get out of your comfort zone to experience something else? Or would you still just have been in that comfort zone and stuck at that same job?
Most likely, I would have stayed at Freedom Mobile place until now. Most likely, because I worked there. That's my longest job that I've worked on my
Yeah.
resume. The longest job that I've worked 3 years in a row is Freedom Mobile. I have not worked any other job more than 2 years. So probably I would be at Freedom Mobile I would be promoted as a manager, store manager.
Yeah.
But I would have forgotten that I came here to do computer engineering.
I
Yeah.
think that's somewhere that's a good point because when people get comfortable, they don't want to take risk. Yes, I understand that perspective, you know.
Yeah.
Everything is going well. Why do you want to risk it? But then stepping out of the comfort bubble, it's I think you have to do it, and it's good that you. I'm not saying it's good that you're laid off, but then at the end it worked out
It worked out.
because at that point you're like, oh no, it feels like everything is over, like my life is over, like it's the end. But then you don't realize where that can lead you, like so many other doors can open in the future. And I think you moved from Hamilton to Ottawa, and you got a new job. And how exactly are you finding that experience?
So this is my third job.
Yeah.
This is my third job after Mohawk College, IT services technician. I got another job at TransUnion
Okay.
as a IT analyst, and then this is my third job at Ascent, and I work as infrastructure engineer.
Is it the comfort, like what made you change your jobs from TransUnion to Accent? Like was it the comfort zone or you wanted to try something new?
No, so ever since getting into IT, I just wanted
Yeah.
to grow. Like I wanted to get better in my career, better salary, better position, everything. So I always wanted to climb up the ladder. And staying in the same company doesn't let you, you don't get promoted that often staying in the same
Yeah.
company. Like IT is a field where you have to swap different roles to get promoted. And that's the only time you get a good salary growth.
Yeah.
So that was my primary reason as a career growth. Like here, the position that I have is way better than what position I had at Mohawk College. I was just a technician.
Yeah.
Yeah, like have you restarted your computer? That was my first question at Mohawk College.
That's the answer to most of the problems, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't do that anymore. So
Yeah.
that's how it's changed.
And Meet, you've lived in 3 different cities. Like how, 3 or 2, I think. Yeah, 3 or 2, as you mentioned. Like you've lived in different places. How has that change been for you? Like from
So
Toronto to Ottawa. Yeah.
I'm finally. Oh, I didn't tell you guys this before our podcast, but I'll tell you right now on the podcast, obviously. So Ottawa is my favorite city, and I'm buying a house here.
Oh
Oh,
wow,
really? Yeah.
congratulations.
Congratulations,
That's
man.
amazing. It's a good way to break the news.
Yes, I didn't tell you. I signed up. Last year's Dhanteras.
Yeah.
Ilian Dhanteras is like a festival. This two guys would know, but I'll explain you. It's basically a festival where you buy gold, property, silver. It comes in between Diwali.
Yeah.
So last year's Dhanteras 2025, I signed up for a pre-built house, and they're still building my house. It's not yet ready, but it'll be ready this year, October. So obviously, you guys are invited for the housewarming party.
Definitely,
Thank you. I
I'll be
appreciate that.
coming up there.
Yeah, I'll send you guys message obviously
Yeah.
once it's ready. So Ottawa is the place that I like the most. So I'm gonna probably settle here, but I don't know. Maybe sometime in future it takes me somewhere else. I'll take that shot as well.
What do you
What-
like
what-
more about
was-
Ottawa than
was gonna ask you
Hamilton?
I was gonna ask
What
you
makes you like it more compared to other cities you've lived in?
Ottawa is mainly like a government city. It's not like party city like Toronto. It's quiet after 10 p.m. and that's how I like it to be. I don't party too much. I never party usually, so I'm a person who likes it to be quiet, calm, and good community.
Yeah.
That's how it is. So it depends. Like if you are a loud type of person, if you like loud environments, then this is not the place. But if you want to be someone who lives in peace and just quiet neighborhood, then this is the place.
Yeah.
That's a huge difference. Yeah, even the traffic and everything is not as bad as GTA. Yeah.
That's great news, man. Like, congratulations again. Like, I know
Yeah.
I've never been to Ottawa. Like, I want to actually come down like once to see around.
100%. Obviously, yeah. Once the house is ready, just come and stay as long as you guys want to stay.
Yeah.
How was
I
the
think Yash is
process,
the
you
one
know?
who lives close.
If you don't mind sharing with us, how was the process of finding a house, buying a new house? Because I think a home it's like it's a long-term investment, and you have to think so much about it. Like, is this the right place? Is this the right price? So, if you could tell us the process of buying a home, how was that for you?
So usually, if you're buying a resale house, like the one that's already bought by someone and then he's trying to sell it, you have to have a real estate agent. Once you
Okay.
have the real estate agent, he's the one who bargains. You cannot bargain with the owner yourself. You have to have real estate agent. But since my house was a pre-built, I directly have to go to the builder and I can directly talk to them. However, I had a real estate agent. He's a friend of mine, so he bargained a little bit, and then the builder gives you all the documents. He's like, yeah, here, sign this. You sign it, and that's it. After a few months, no, like before 3 months of your closing, you have to apply for the mortgage. Yeah. So obviously, like, you have to apply for the mortgage, so you have to have a job, you have to have the down payment in your account, stuff like that. It's a pretty simple process. It's nothing complicated.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. I'm
Yeah.
so happy for
Yeah.
you.
But
You know,
one thing,
yeah, you can
one
go ahead. Sorry.
no, I was gonna say one thing recommended, like with the builders, before you sign anything, you have to go to bank and check your affordability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So can you negotiate with the bank like a better rate, or the bank gives you a rate and that's it?
You can negotiate. You can negotiate a little bit. It's like 0.05% difference. You can negotiate, yeah. And different banks give you different rates. I haven't applied my mortgage yet because I still got like a few months.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna bargain, obviously.
Yeah, having lived in Kenya, I think everyone likes to bargain, even if you go to the
I know, yeah.
market to buy vegetables or groceries, we have to bargain. I think it's in
Yeah,
our DNA to do that. So yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, Meet. One question I would like to ask you as well is, if there was one piece of advice you would like to give anyone who's watching this video from Kenya, who's younger, who wants to move to Canada, or like not just Canada, just abroad in general, what would it be like, just from your whole experience in Canada, like from working in a conveyor belt, like to almost owning a house in Canada, like your journey would be inspiring to a lot of people. So what will be one piece of advice, or what is one thing you wished you would have known before moving to Canada? Yeah.
Let me think about it because I'm not so
Yeah.
good at
Yeah,
advice.
it's okay.
Yeah.
If you're moving from Kenya to Canada, a lot of things would change. You'll miss your home. You'll get independent. You'll get so much room to you won't have any parents with you, right? So no one will be monitoring you. You can do whatever the hell you like.
Yeah.
But don't chase those things, I would say. Work hard, stay focused, and the day will come when you'll be proud at yourself.
Yeah.
And obviously, like someone like me who was gonna get in comfort zone of Freedom Mobile. So never get in your comfort zone. Stay hungry, stay greedy. Always be like, oh, why am I only earning this much? Even if it's enough, always stay greedy and hungry. Then no, I still want more. That's how I am. Like I always want to grow. Cannot stop at a point.
Yeah.
That's
I think
amazing.
you hit the nail in the head, because
Yeah.
staying hungry and staying greedy is very important in life, because like
Yeah.
as Yash mentioned, like people in general are mean in nature, and I think we should always look out for ourselves. So staying hungry and staying greedy is the way it's like survival of the fittest, like in Canada,
Yeah.
I would say. Like if you
Yeah.
don't work hard, the people around you are gonna grow, and yeah.
Yeah, 100%, man.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you so much, Meet, for doing this today. I think the conversation was really good. Like getting to know more about your life in Canada
Yeah.
was very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I don't post a lot of stuff on social media, Instagram, so a lot of people wouldn't know this side of my life.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm happy to share whatever information you guys need.
Yeah, bro, we
that's-
really appreciate you taking the time to speak with us. It's been a while since we've connected, but now I hope we can stay in touch, and maybe we can come visit you in Ottawa. Maybe I can come
100%.
with
Yeah,
Sagar
plan
in the
something.
summer. Yeah, and come visit
Yeah, we
you
must
and
come meet. We'll come meet you in the summer. Yeah.
Plan something. Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
take you to the parliament.
Yeah. And yeah, like Yash doesn't live very far. Like I live in Peterborough, but it's not very far from here. It's like 3 hours from here. So yeah.
Peterborough. How much is it from Ottawa?
It's like 3 hours, I think. Yeah, 3 hours.
3 hours?
Give or take.
If Saga is driving, it's 3 hours. If I'm driving, it's 2.5 hours. So,
Yeah.
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 But
100%.
again, thank you so much for your time, Meet. And yeah,
Yeah. Thank you,
thanks a
guys.
lot.